The warning lights flashed red across the command center of Station Nexus. Commander Thex stared at his screens with growing confusion. A small transport ship was approaching their position, but it was not on any scheduled list. The ship looked old and damaged, nothing like the sleek vessels that usually visited the Zephyrian Empire's most important space station. "Sir, the ship is requesting permission to dock," his assistant reported. Her voice carried worry, but they refused to identify themselves properly. Commander Thex felt his stomach twist. Unknown ships approaching the capital system meant trouble. The Zephyrian Empire had many enemies across the galaxy. He was about to order the ship to be destroyed when something made him pause. "Wait," he said, studying the readings more carefully. "These energy signatures, they look familiar." The transport ship moved closer to the docking bay. It was clearly damaged from some kind of battle or crash. Burn marks covered its hull and one wing hung at an odd angle. Whoever was flying it had great skill to make it this far. "Let them dock," Commander Thex decided. "But surround the bay with security forces, full weapons ready." 20 minutes later, the docking bay was filled with armed Zephyrian soldiers. Their blue skin gleamed under the bright lights, and their tall, elegant forms stood perfectly still as they waited. Each soldier held an energy rifle that could cut through metal like paper. The transport ship's door opened with a loud hiss. Steam poured out from the damaged systems inside. Commander Thex held his breath, expecting to see enemy soldiers or pirates emerge from the ship. Instead, a figure stepped out that made every soldier in the bay gasp in shock. Princess Lyrelei walked down the ramp with slow, careful steps. Her once beautiful clothes were torn and dirty. Her long silver hair, which should have been perfectly styled, hung loose around her shoulders. But there was no mistaking her identity. She was the daughter of Queen Valestra, ruler of the entire Zephyrian Empire. "Princess," Commander Thex dropped his weapon and fell to one knee. All around him, soldiers did the same. "We thought you were dead." Princess Lyrelei had been missing for 5 years. Her diplomatic ship had disappeared while traveling to a distant star system. Search teams had found only debris and wreckage. The Empire had mourned her loss, and Queen Valestra had worn black clothes for an entire year. But as shocking as the princess's return was, what happened next left everyone speechless. 2 small figures appeared behind Princess Lyrelei. They were clearly not Zephyrian. Their skin was pale pink instead of blue. Their hair was brown and messy. They were much shorter than any adult Zephyrian, but they did not look like Zephyrian children either. The creatures held Princess Lyrelei's hands, one on each side. They looked around the docking bay with bright, curious eyes. They showed no fear of the armed soldiers or the advanced technology surrounding them. What are those?" Commander Thex whispered. "They are my children," Princess Lyrelei said simply. Her voice was different from before, stronger, more confident. "Their names are Emma and Marcus." Commander Thex felt his world spin. Children? But Princess Lyrelei had never been married. She had no mate. And these creatures were clearly not Zephyrian. The smaller one, who must have been Marcus, tugged on the princess's hand. "Mama Lyra, why are all the blue people kneeling?" he asked in a high, sweet voice. The older one, Emma, studied the soldiers with sharp eyes. "Their weapons are interesting," she said. "The energy focusing system is more advanced than the designs in your ship's computer." Commander Thex stared at the small creatures in amazement. The young one called the princess Mama. The older one talked about advanced weapons technology as if she understood it completely. "What were these beings?" "Commander," Princess Lyrelei said, "I need to see my mother immediately. Queen Valestra must be told that I have returned." "Of course, Princess. Right away." Commander Thex stood up, his mind still reeling. "But the children. What species are they? Where did they come from?" "They are humans," Princess Lyrelei replied. "They come from a world called Earth. Humans." Commander Thex had heard of them, but only in jokes and stories. They were supposed to be a primitive species that lived on some backwater planet. They had no advanced technology, no space travel, no knowledge of the greater galaxy. Most Zephyrians considered them little better than animals. But these human children showed no fear or confusion in the most advanced space station in the Empire. They looked around with the confidence of beings who belonged there. "Send a message to Queen Valestra," Commander Thex ordered his assistant. "Tell her that Princess Lyrelei has returned." "Tell her?" He paused, unsure how to explain the situation. Tell her that the princess is not alone. Within an hour, the fastest ship in the Empire was racing toward the capital world of Zephyria Prime. Princess Lyrelei sat in the passenger section with Emma and Marcus beside her. The children pressed their faces to the windows, watching the stars streak by as the ship traveled faster than light. Look, Marcus, Emma pointed at a passing nebula. The gas clouds are ionized. That creates the pretty colors. Marcus nodded seriously. Like the northern lights back home, but much bigger. The ship's pilot, a veteran officer named Captain Zorith, listened to their conversation with growing amazement. These small humans understood concepts that took Zephyrian students years to learn. How was this possible? Princess, Captain Zorith said carefully, if I may ask, how did you come to adopt these human children? Princess Lyrelei was quiet for a long moment. She stroked Emma's hair gently as she spoke. My ship crashed on their world 5 years ago. I was badly injured and would have died. Emma and Marcus's parents found me and saved my life. Her voice grew sad. They gave everything to help me. When they died protecting their colony from raiders, I performed the bonding ritual. Emma and Marcus became my children in all ways that matter. Captain Zorith gasped. The bonding ritual was one of the most sacred ceremonies in Zephyrian culture. It created family ties that could never be broken. But it had never been performed with aliens before. Most Zephyrians would consider such an act to be forbidden. As they approached Zephyria Prime, the ship's communication system crackled to life. Queen Valestra's voice filled the cabin, strong but emotional. My daughter, the Queen said. Is it really you? Yes, Mother, Princess Lyrelei replied. I am coming home, and I am bringing my children with me. There was a long pause. Then Queen Valestra spoke again, her voice more careful now. Children? Lyrelei, what do you mean? You will understand when you see them, Mother. They are remarkable beings. They have shown me things about the galaxy that I never knew before. Emma looked up at Princess Lyrelei with worried eyes. Will the Queen like us? She asked quietly. She will love you, Princess Lyrelei promised, just as I do. But as their ship descended toward the royal palace, Princess Lyrelei felt uncertainty growing in her heart. She knew that bringing human children to the Zephyrian court would cause problems. Many nobles still believed that aliens were inferior to their own kind. She looked at Emma and Marcus, who were now sleeping peacefully in their seats. These brave, intelligent children had already faced so much in their short lives. They deserved a chance to grow up in safety and peace. Whatever happened next, Princess Lyrelei was determined to protect them, even if it meant challenging the entire empire. Queen Valestra stood on the landing platform of her palace, her heart beating fast with excitement and worry. 5 years had passed since she had last seen her daughter. 5 years of grief and wondering what had happened to Princess Lyrelei. The royal ship touched down with perfect silence. Queen Valestra watched as the door opened and her daughter stepped out. Even from a distance, she could see that Lyrelei had changed. She looked older, stronger, and more confident than before. But Queen Valestra's joy turned to confusion when she saw the 2 small figures walking beside her daughter. They held Princess Lyrelei's hands and looked around the magnificent palace with wide, curious eyes. Lyrelei. Queen Valestra ran forward and embraced her daughter tightly. Tears ran down her blue cheeks as she held the child she thought she had lost forever. I missed you so much, Mother, Princess Lyrelei whispered. After a long moment, Queen Valestra stepped back and looked at the human children. Up close, she could see how different they were from Zephyrians. Their skin was pale and soft-looking. Their eyes were smaller but very bright. They seemed so fragile compared to her own people. Mother, Princess Lyrelei said, I want you to meet Emma and Marcus. They are my children now. Emma, the older child, stepped forward and bowed politely. Your Majesty, she said in careful Zephyrian, thank you for welcoming us to your home. Marcus, who was younger and shyer, hid partly behind Princess Lyrelei's robes. But he peeked out with one brown eye and waved his small hand. Queen Valestra stared at them in shock. The older child spoke their language perfectly. Both children showed proper respect, even though they were in a completely alien environment. These were not the primitive creatures she had expected. Come, Queen Valestra said finally. We have much to discuss. They walked through the palace halls together. Emma and Marcus looked at everything with great interest. The walls were made of living crystal that glowed with soft light. Fountains of liquid silver flowed through the air without touching the ground. Plants from 100 different worlds grew in perfect harmony. How does the crystal stay so bright without any power source? Emma asked, studying the walls. It feeds on quantum energy fluctuations, Queen Valestra answered without thinking. Then she stopped in surprise. How did a human child even know to ask such a question? They reached the Queen's private chambers, where she often held important meetings. Queen Valestra sat on her throne, while Princess Lyrelei took a chair nearby. Emma and Marcus stood close to their adoptive mother. Now, Queen Valestra said, tell me everything. What happened to you? How did you survive? And how did you come to be with these humans? Princess Lyrelei took a deep breath. My ship was attacked by pirates near the edge of the galaxy. The crew fought bravely, but we were outnumbered. The ship crashed on a planet called Earth. She paused, remembering painful events. I was badly hurt. My leg was broken, and I had internal injuries that would have killed me within hours. I crawled from the wreckage, expecting to die alone on an alien world. Emma reached up and squeezed Princess Lyralei's hand in comfort. But then I heard voices, Princess Lyralei continued. Emma and Marcus's parents had seen my ship crash. They came to help, even though they had never seen a Zephyrian before. They carried me to their home and treated my injuries. The humans helped you? Queen Valestra asked in surprise. But why would they risk themselves for a stranger? Because they are good people, Princess Lyrelei said simply. Dr. Sarah Chen and Dr. Michael Rodriguez were scientists. They studied the stars and dreamed of meeting other intelligent life. When they found me, they were excited and scared, but they never hesitated to help. Marcus spoke up in his small voice. Mama Sarah said that helping others is what makes us human. Queen Valestra felt her heart twist. The child spoke of his birth parents in the past tense. What happened to them? She asked gently. Princess Lyrelei's eyes grew dark. The same pirates who destroyed my ship found Earth. They came to make sure I was dead and to steal any technology from the crash. Emma and Marcus's parents hid me and the children in a secret bunker. Her voice became harder. The pirates tortured Dr. Chen and Dr. Rodriguez trying to find me, but they never gave me away. They died protecting us. Queen Valestra was quiet for a moment. She had heard many stories of courage in her long life, but few touched her as deeply as this one. After the pirates left, Princess Lyrelei continued, I was alone with 2 small children on a world I barely understood. Emma was only 3 years old. Marcus was just 1. They had lost everything. Emma looked up at Princess Lyrelei with love in her eyes. But then you became our new mama. I performed the bonding ritual, Princess Lyrelei said. I made them my children in the sight of our ancestors. We became a family. Queen Valestra gasped. The bonding ritual was sacred to their people. It created family ties that were stronger than blood. But it had never been used with aliens before. Lyrelei, she said carefully, the Council of Lords will not be happy about this. Many of our people believe that bonding with other species is forbidden. Then they are wrong, Princess Lyrelei replied firmly. Emma and Marcus are my children. They are Zephyrian now, just as much as they are human. Just then, the door burst open. Lord Kravex, the head of the High Council, strode into the room with several other nobles behind him. Their faces showed anger and disgust. Your Majesty, Lord Kravex said, bowing briefly to Queen Valestra, we have heard disturbing news. Is it true that Princess Lyrelei has brought alien creatures into the palace? They are not creatures, Princess Lyrelei said, standing up. They are my children. Lord Kravex looked at Emma and Marcus with cold eyes. These primitive beings have no place in our empire. They should be sent to research facilities where they can be studied properly. Marcus whimpered and hid behind Princess Lyrelei. Emma stepped forward, her young face showing fierce determination. We are not going anywhere, Emma said clearly. Princess Lyrelei is our mother. This is our home now. Lord Kravex laughed cruelly. Listen to it speak, as if it has any rights here, as if its opinion matters. That is enough, Princess Liralay's voice rang through the chamber. You will not speak about my children that way. Your children? Lord Kravex sneered. You have broken our oldest laws by bonding with these aliens. The council demands that you give them up immediately. Never, Princess Liralai said. Queen Valestra watched the confrontation with growing worry. She had never seen her daughter so defiant before, but she had also never seen her so sure of herself. The law is clear, another lord spoke up. Aliens cannot be granted citizenship in our empire. These creatures must be removed. Then the law is wrong, Princess Liralai declared, and I will not follow it. The nobles gasped in shock. No one had ever openly defied the High Council before, especially not a member of the royal family. Lord Kravex's face turned dark blue with anger. You forget yourself, Princess. You are not above our laws. I am a mother protecting her children, Princess Liralai replied. That is above all laws. Emma tugged on Princess Liralai's robe. When her adoptive mother bent down, Emma whispered something in her ear. Princess Liralai nodded and stood up again. Emma wants to know why you are so afraid of them, Princess Liralai said to Lord Kravex. Afraid? Lord Kravex sputtered. I am not afraid of these primitive creatures. Then why do you want to lock them away? Princess Liralai asked. If they are so harmless and backward, why not let them stay with me? Lord Kravex had no good answer to this question. His silence filled the room. Queen Valestra looked at her daughter and the two human children. She could see the love between them clearly. She could also see that Emma and Marcus were far from primitive. They understood everything that was happening around them. The council will meet tomorrow, Queen Valestra decided. We will discuss this matter properly then. Lord Kravex bowed stiffly. Very well, Your Majesty, but these aliens cannot remain in the palace. They will stay with me, Princess Liralai said firmly. They are my family. After the nobles left, Queen Valestra sat quietly with her daughter and the human children. She watched as Marcus climbed onto Princess Liralay's lap, and Emma leaned against her side. They truly love you, Queen Valestra said softly. And I love them, Princess Liralai replied. More than my own life. Queen Valestra knew that difficult times were coming. The High Council would not accept these human children easily. But looking at her daughter's face, she also knew that Princess Liralai would never give them up. The question now was whether the Zephyrian Empire was ready to change its oldest beliefs, or whether this family would have to fight for their right to exist together. The war room of the Zephyrian Empire buzzed with panic and confusion. General Thyro stood before a massive display screen showing the current battle situation. Red markers showed enemy ships advancing toward their home system. Blue markers showed Zephyrian forces retreating in disorder. How is this possible? General Thyros demanded. Our shields are the strongest in the galaxy. Our weapons can destroy entire planets. How are the Krillians winning so easily? Admiral Vex studied the tactical readings with growing fear. Their technology has changed, General. Their weapons adapt to our defenses within minutes. Our battle computers cannot predict their movements anymore. The Krillian hegemony had been the Empire's enemy for over 1,000 years. They were a cruel race that conquered other worlds and enslaved their populations. For centuries, the Zephyrians had held them back with superior technology and tactics. But now the Krillians had somehow gained new abilities. Their ships moved in patterns that made no sense. Their weapons changed frequency and power faster than Zephyrian defenses could adapt. In 3 days of fighting, the Empire had lost more ships than in the previous century. We need new strategies, General Thyros said. Call together all our best military minds. Every admiral, every tactical expert, every... Alarms suddenly screamed throughout the command center. The main display showed a massive Krillian fleet dropping out of hyperspace near the capital system. They're here, Admiral Vex shouted. Over 200 ships. General Thyros felt his heart sink. The home fleet had only 50 ships left after the recent battles. They were outnumbered 4-1 by an enemy that had already proven they could defeat Zephyrian technology. In the royal palace, Queen Valestra received the news with calm dignity, But Princess Lyrelei could see the fear in her mother's eyes. "How long before they reach us?" Princess Lyrelei asked. 6 hours, Queen Valestra replied. "General Thyros is preparing our final defenses, but—" She did not finish the sentence. Emma and Marcus sat nearby, listening to the conversation with serious expressions. They had spent the morning learning about Zephyrian history from the palace computer systems. Now they understood that their new family was in terrible danger. "Mama Lyra," Emma said. "Can we help?" Princess Lyrelei smiled sadly at her adopted daughter. "You are very brave, Emma, but this is a war between great starships. There is nothing that children can do." "But we're not just children," Marcus said seriously. "We're human children." Before Princess Lyrelei could ask what he meant, an aide rushed into the room. "Your Majesty," the aide said to Queen Valestra, "General Thyros requests that all members of the royal family come to the secure bunkers immediately." "In a moment," Queen Valestra replied. She turned to Princess Lyrelei. "Take Emma and Marcus to safety. I must stay and coordinate the defense." "No," Princess Lyrelei said firmly. "We stay together. All of us." Queen Valestra started to argue, but Emma interrupted. "Your Majesty," Emma said, "could we see the battle plans first? Maybe we can help," the aide laughed. "Help? You are just small children." "We are human children," Emma corrected him. "Humans think differently than other species." Queen Valestra looked at Emma with curiosity. "What do you mean?" "On Earth, humans had to fight many wars against enemies who were stronger than us," Emma explained. "We learned to win by being unpredictable, by doing things that don't make sense to our enemies." Marcus nodded eagerly. "Like Mama Sarah always said, when you can't be stronger, be smarter." Princess Lyrelei remembered Dr. Sarah Chen, Emma's birth mother. She had been a brilliant scientist who often found solutions to problems that seemed impossible. "Mother," Princess Lyrelei said, "what harm could it do to let them look?" Queen Valestra was quiet for a moment. Then she made a decision that would change galactic history. "Very well," she said. "We will go to the war room together." General Thyros was not happy to see children in his command center, especially alien children. But he was desperate enough to try anything. "The situation is hopeless," he explained to Queen Valestra. "The Krillians have some kind of new adaptive technology. Our computers cannot predict what they will do next." Emma studied the tactical display with intense focus. She watched the movement patterns of both fleets, noting how the Krillian ships seemed to respond instantly to any Zephyrian strategy. "General," Emma said, "your battle computers are very advanced, aren't they?" "The most advanced in the galaxy," General Thyros replied proudly. "And they calculate the best possible tactics for every situation?" "Of course," Emma nodded thoughtfully. "That's your problem, what?" General Thyros stared at her in confusion. "The Krillians aren't trying to beat your tactics," Emma explained. "They're trying to beat your computers. They've programmed their systems to counter logical, optimal strategies." Marcus pointed at the display. "Look how they move. They always respond perfectly to what your computers predict. But what if you did something that wasn't optimal?" General Thyros looked at the human children as if they were insane. "Why would we use inferior tactics?" "Because the Krillians won't expect them," Emma said simply. Admiral Vex leaned forward with interest. "What kind of inferior tactics?" Emma studied the battle display more carefully. "Your ships always attack in perfect formations, right? With calculated spacing and optimal firing patterns." "Yes," General Thyros confirmed. "What if you attacked in a random mess instead?" Emma suggested. "No formation at all. Ships moving in chaotic patterns, some attacking, some retreating, some doing nothing." "That would be completely inefficient," General Thyros protested. "Exactly," Marcus said with a grin. "So chaotic that their computers won't be able to predict it." Princess Lyrelei looked at her human children with growing amazement. Their minds worked so differently from Zephyrian thinking. Where her people saw order and logic, Emma and Marcus saw possibilities and surprises. "It might work," Admiral Vex said slowly. "If their adaptive systems are designed to counter optimal strategies, then non-optimal strategies might confuse them." "This is madness," General Thyros declared. "We're already losing with sanity," Queen Valestra pointed out. "Perhaps madness is worth trying." 1 hour later, the Zephyrian home fleet faced the Krillian invasion force. General Thyros had given his captains the most unusual orders in military history: fight badly on purpose. Emma and Marcus watched from the command center as the battle began. The Zephyrian ships moved in chaotic, seemingly random patterns. Some attacked head-on while others retreated. Some ships fired continuously while others stopped shooting for no apparent reason. The Krillian fleet responded with confusion. Their adaptive computers had been programmed to counter intelligent tactics. They could not understand or respond to tactics that made no sense. "It's working," Admiral Vex shouted. "The Krillian ships are hesitating. Their formation is breaking apart." On the display, the red markers representing enemy ships began to move erratically. Some Krillian vessels tried to attack, others tried to retreat, and still others simply stopped moving as their computers struggled to process the chaos. "Now," Emma called out. "While they're confused, hit them with everything you have." General Thyros gave the order. The Zephyrian fleet, still moving in their chaotic patterns, unleashed their full firepower on the confused Krillian ships. The results were devastating. Krillian vessels, caught without proper defensive formations, exploded one after another. Within minutes, half their fleet was destroyed or damaged. "Impossible," General Thyros whispered. "We're actually winning." The remaining Krillian ships tried to retreat, but Emma had another suggestion. "Don't let them escape in an organized way," she said. "Chase them randomly. Some ships go left, some go right, some go straight. Make it impossible for them to regroup." The Zephyrian fleet pursued the retreating Krillians with the same chaotic tactics. The enemy ships, still unable to predict or counter the random movements, were picked off one by one. By the end of the battle, the entire Krillian invasion force had been destroyed or captured. Not a single enemy ship escaped to report back to their leaders. The war room erupted in celebration. Officers who had expected to die that day now danced and cheered. Queen Valestra embraced her daughter and grandchildren with tears of joy. "How did you know that would work?" General Thyros asked Emma and Marcus. "Humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years," Emma explained. "We learned that sometimes the best strategy is to have no strategy at all." "Controlled chaos," Marcus added. "It's one of our favorite tactics." Admiral Vex shook his head in wonder. 2 human children just saved the Zephyrian Empire. News of the victory spread quickly throughout the galaxy. Other species learned that the mighty Krillian hegemony had been defeated by tactics suggested by primitive human children. The implications were staggering. If humans could see solutions that escaped even the most advanced alien minds, then perhaps they were not so primitive after all. Queen Valestra looked at Emma and Marcus with new respect. These small beings had just proven that they possessed something the Empire desperately needed: the ability to think in ways that their enemies could not predict or counter. "General Thyros," Queen Valestra commanded, "I want you to work with Emma and Marcus to develop new tactical doctrines. It seems we have much to learn from human military thinking." Princess Lyrelei felt pride swell in her chest as she watched her children being treated as the heroes they were. They had not only saved their new home but had begun to word of the great victory traveled fast across the galaxy. In the trading posts of the Outer Rim, merchants whispered about the battle where chaos defeated order. In the council halls of ancient civilizations, leaders debated what this meant for the balance of power. On 100 different worlds, beings who had never heard of humans before now spoke their name with wonder and fear. The Andromedan Trade Federation was the first to act. Ambassador Keltos arrived at the Zephyrian court just 3 days after the battle, requesting an immediate audience with Queen Valestra. "Your Majesty," Ambassador Keltos said, his forearms gesturing nervously, "my government wishes to establish formal diplomatic relations with the human species. We understand that you have contact with them." Queen Valestra smiled as she watched Emma and Marcus playing with a holographic puzzle in the corner of the throne room. They had quickly learned to manipulate the energy constructs in ways that amazed even the palace technicians. "Indeed we do," Queen Valestra replied. "What exactly does the Federation want with humanity?" "We have heard remarkable stories about their tactical abilities," Ambassador Keltos explained. "Our own conflicts with the hegemony have been less successful than yours. Perhaps we could learn from their methods." Before Queen Valestra could answer, Emma looked up from her puzzle. "Are you talking about us?" she asked politely. Ambassador Keltos stared at her in shock. You are human?" "I'm Emma," she said with a smile. "This is my brother Marcus. We're Princess Lyrelei's children now." The ambassador's skin turned pale green. "Children?" "The tactical geniuses who defeated the Krillian fleet are children. We just helped a little," Marcus said modestly. General Thyros and his officers did all the real fighting. Ambassador Keltos fell to his knees. In Andromedan culture, this was a sign of deep respect reserved for the most honored beings. "Please," he begged. "My people are dying in battles against the hegemony. Will you help us?" Emma and Marcus looked at each other, then at Princess Lyrelai. Their adoptive mother nodded encouragingly. "We can try," Emma said. "But you have to promise that you won't hurt any innocent people." "We promise," Ambassador Keltos said quickly. This was just the beginning. Over the next few weeks, delegations arrived from dozens of different species. The crystalline hierarchy wanted to learn human engineering techniques. The gas giant collective sought advice on resource management. Even the mysterious Shadow Council sent representatives to study human psychology. Princess Lyrelai watched with pride as her children adapted to their new role as inadvertent ambassadors. They treated every visitor with kindness and curiosity, asking as many questions as they answered. "How do you breathe methane?" Marcus asked a delegate from the Titan Consortium. "Can you teach me some words in your language?" "Your quantum mathematics are fascinating," Emma told a crystalline scholar. "But have you considered applying chaos theory to your equations?" Each conversation led to new ideas and perspectives. The human children's natural curiosity and lack of preconceptions allowed them to suggest solutions that would never occur to more experienced minds, but not everyone was happy about humanity's growing influence. Lord Cravex had been watching these developments with increasing anger. He called a secret meeting of the High Council, gathering those nobles who shared his views about alien inferiority. "This has gone too far," Lord Cravex declared. "These primitive creatures are making a mockery of our traditions. Aliens bow to human children while our own people are ignored. The Queen seems to favor them above her own subjects," another lord complained. "She treats them as if they were truly royal, because Princess Lyrelai has made them royal," a third noble pointed out. "The bonding ritual cannot be undone." Lord Cravex's eyes gleamed with malice. "Perhaps not, but accidents can happen to anyone, even bonded children." Before anyone could respond to this disturbing suggestion, alarms began ringing throughout the palace. Emergency broadcasts filled the communication channels with urgent news. "The hegemony has launched a massive assault on the human homeworld," the announcer reported. "Over 500 Krillian ships are approaching Earth. The planet's primitive defenses cannot hope to stop them." In the royal chambers, Princess Lyrelai felt her blood turn to ice. Earth was where Emma and Marcus had been born. It was where their birth parents were buried. It was home to billions of innocent humans who knew nothing about galactic politics or ancient wars. "They're targeting Earth to hurt us," Emma said quietly, her young voice filled with sadness and understanding. "They want to destroy our birth world to make us suffer." Marcus's eyes filled with tears. "All those people, they don't even know why they're being attacked." Princess Lyrelai knelt down and gathered her children into her arms. "I won't let them destroy your world," she promised. "We will stop this." "How?" Marcus asked. "Earth has no spaceships, no weapons that could fight the Krillians." Princess Lyrelai stood up, her face set with determination. "Then we will take them weapons. We will take them a fleet." She strode into the throne room where Queen Valestra was receiving emergency reports from across the galaxy. "Mother," Princess Lyrelai announced, "I request permission to lead a rescue fleet to Earth." Queen Valestra looked at her daughter in shock. "Lyrelai, you have never commanded a military operation. The High Council would never approve." "The High Council can object later," Princess Lyrelai interrupted. "Right now, innocent people are about to die because of a war they never asked to join." General Thyros stepped forward. "Your Highness, with respect, Fleet Command requires years of training and experience. The battle for Earth will be the largest engagement in our history." "Then it's a good thing I'll have the best advisors in the galaxy," Princess Lyrelai replied, looking at Emma and Marcus. "They've already proven they can outthink any military computer." Emma tugged on Princess Lyrelai's robes. "Mama Lyra," she whispered, "we want to help, but we're scared." "What if we make a mistake? What if people die because we give bad advice?" Princess Lyrelai knelt down again and looked into her daughter's eyes. "Emma, do you remember what your birth mother used to tell you about fear?" Emma thought for a moment, then smiled slightly. "She said that being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do the right thing even when you are scared." "That's right," Princess Lyrelai said, "and saving Earth is the right thing to do." Marcus nodded firmly. "Then we'll help." We won't let our birth world be destroyed. Queen Valestra watched this exchange with growing emotion. She could see the love between her daughter and the human children. She could also see that they were ready to face terrible danger to save others. Very well, Queen Valestra decided. Princess Lirale, I hereby grant you command of the first expeditionary fleet. You will take our finest ships and officers to defend the human homeworld. Lord Kravex stepped forward, his face dark with anger. Your Majesty, this is madness. You cannot put the Empire's most powerful fleet under the command of someone who has never fought a space battle. I can, and I will, Queen Valestra replied firmly. Princess Lirale has something that our experienced commanders lack. She understands how humans think. If anyone can save Earth, it is her. Within hours, the largest fleet in Zephyrian history was assembled. 50 of their most advanced warships led by Princess Lirale aboard the flagship Star of Zephyria. The crew included volunteers from dozens of different species, all united in their desire to protect the human homeworld. As the fleet prepared to depart, Emma and Marcus stood on the bridge of the flagship looking out at the stars. They knew they were heading into the greatest battle of their lives. Are you ready? Princess Lirale asked them. Emma took Marcus's hand and squeezed it gently. We're ready, Mama Lyra. Let's go save Earth. The combined fleet jumped into hyperspace, racing toward humanity's birth world. Behind them, they left a galaxy that was beginning to understand that humans were far more than anyone had imagined. Ahead of them waited a battle that would determine not just the fate of one world, but the future relationship between humanity and the stars. Princess Lirale stood beside her adopted children as they traveled toward the unknown. She had no idea if they would succeed or fail, but she knew that they would face whatever came together, as a family, and sometimes that was all the strength anyone needed. The combined fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system to find chaos already beginning. 500 Krillian warships hung in space near the small blue planet, their dark hulls bristling with weapons. On Earth's surface, primitive defense satellites tried desperately to coordinate some kind of response, but their simple technology was no match for the hegemony's war machines. Princess Lirale stood on the bridge of the Star of Zephyria, watching the tactical displays with a heavy heart. The Krillian fleet was 3 times larger than her own force, and they had positioned themselves perfectly to destroy any rescue attempt. Admiral Vex, she said to her second-in-command, what do our computers predict? Admiral Vex studied the battle analysis with grim eyes. The enemy has superior numbers and positioning, Your Highness. Our tactical systems calculate a 12% chance of victory using conventional strategies. Emma and Marcus stood beside Princess Lirale, their small hands pressed against the viewing window as they looked at their birth world. Even from this distance, they could see the lights of human cities twinkling on the planet's surface. 7 billion people, Emma whispered. All of them about to die because of us. No, Princess Lirale said firmly, placing a hand on her daughter's shoulder. They're about to be saved because of you. Both of you. Marcus looked up at his adoptive mother with worried eyes. But there are so many enemy ships. Even with chaos tactics, how can we win? Emma studied the tactical display more carefully, her young mind already working on the problem. Mama Lyra, she said slowly, what if we don't try to win the space battle at all? What do you mean? Admiral Vex asked. The Krillians want to destroy Earth, right? Emma explained. But they also want to capture us. What if we give them what they think they want? Princess Lirale felt a chill of understanding. You're suggesting we surrender? Not really surrender, Marcus said, catching on to his sister's plan. Pretend to surrender. Make them think they've won. Emma nodded excitedly. Humans are really good at pretending. We've been doing it for thousands of years. We pretend to be weak when we're strong. Pretend to be stupid when we're smart. The Krillians will want to take us alive, Marcus added. Especially me and Emma. We're the ones who caused them problems. Princess Lirale stared at her children in horror. Absolutely not. I will not use you as bait. But Mama Lyra, Emma said, it's the only way to get close enough to their command ship. Once we're inside their defenses, we can do something they'll never expect. Admiral Vex leaned forward with interest. What kind of something? Marcus grinned with the innocent mischief that only children could manage. Humans invented computer viruses. We're really good at breaking things from the inside. Before Princess Lirale could object further, the Krillian fleet began moving toward Earth. Energy weapons started charging, preparing to turn the human homeworld into a lifeless rock. Your Highness, the communications officer reported, we're receiving a broadcast from the Krillian flagship. They're demanding our immediate surrender. Emma looked at Princess Lyrelei with pleading eyes. Please, Mama Lyra, trust us. We know what we're doing. Princess Lyrelei closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of impossible choices. She could order her fleet to attack and watch them all die trying to save Earth. Or she could trust two human children with a plan that sounded like madness. Very well, she said finally. Open a channel to the Krillian flagship. The main screen filled with the image of Supreme Commander Vokhtar, leader of the Hegemony's invasion force. His reptilian features twisted into a cruel smile when he saw Princess Lyrelei. So, Vokhtar hissed, the Zephyrian princess comes to watch her precious humans die. How fitting. I've come to offer you a trade, Princess Lyrelei said calmly. Spare Earth, and I will surrender myself and the human children to you. Vokhtar's eyes gleamed with hunger. The famous human tactical advisors? Yes, we would very much like to study them. But why should we spare this pathetic world when we can simply take you all? Because if you attack Earth, we will fight to the death, Princess Lyrelei replied. You might win, but the children will be killed in the battle. Dead humans cannot tell you their secrets. Emma stepped forward, playing her part perfectly. Please don't hurt the people on Earth, she said in a small, frightened voice. We'll come with you if you promise not to destroy our birth world. Vokhtar laughed cruelly. How touching. The mighty human strategists are just scared children after all. He considered the offer carefully. Very well. Surrender now, and we will spare your primitive planet. But try any tricks and we will burn it to ash. Understood, Princess Lyrelei said. We're coming aboard, the channel closed. Princess Lyrelei turned to Admiral Vex with tears in her eyes. If this doesn't work, she said quietly, retreat to Zephyria Prime. Tell my mother that we tried. It will work, Emma said with quiet confidence. Humans always find a way. An hour later, Princess Lyrelei and her children were escorted onto the Krillian flagship under heavy guard. The ship was a massive fortress of dark metal, filled with weapons and torture devices. Krillian soldiers lined the corridors, their scales gleaming in the harsh light. They were brought before Supreme Commander Vokhtar in his command chamber. The reptilian leader studied Emma and Marcus with intense curiosity. So small, he mused, so fragile-looking. Yet you managed to defeat our greatest fleet. How? We got lucky, Emma said, still pretending to be scared. Vokhtar struck her across the face with his clawed hand, leaving red marks on her cheek. Princess Lyrelei started forward in rage, but the guards held her back. Do not lie to me, child, Vokhtar snarled. Our computers analyzed the battle. Your tactics were brilliant, not lucky. You will tell me your secrets or your princess will suffer for your silence. Marcus stepped protectively in front of his sister. Don't hurt Mama Lyra. We'll tell you whatever you want to know. Excellent, Vokhtar said. He gestured to his technical staff. Connect the children to our battle computers. Download everything they know about human tactical doctrine. Emma and Marcus were strapped into chairs connected to alien technology. Cables were attached to their heads and screens began displaying their thoughts and memories. But as the Krillian computers tried to read the children's minds, something unexpected happened. Instead of downloading human knowledge, the alien systems began to malfunction. Error messages flashed across screens throughout the command center. What's happening? Vokhtar demanded. The human minds are corrupting our data networks, a technician reported in panic. Their thought patterns are creating cascade failures in our systems. Emma opened her eyes and smiled. Humans don't think like computers, she explained calmly. When you try to download our thoughts, our chaotic mental processes spread through your network like a virus. Marcus nodded. We've been practicing this ever since we learned about computer systems. Human creativity is infectious to logical machines. Alarms began ringing throughout the flagship as computer systems failed one by one. Navigation went offline, followed by weapons control and life support management. Stop this, Vokhtar screamed. Disconnect them. We can't, the technician replied. The virus has already spread to our main processors. If we disconnect now, the entire ship will lose power. Emma looked directly at Supreme Commander Vokhtar with eyes that no longer showed any fear. You wanted to know the secret of human tactics? Here it is. We're too weird for your computers to understand. Our chaos breaks your order. Throughout the Krillian fleet, the same thing was happening. The virus spread from ship to ship through their interconnected command network. 500 warships began losing power and control as their logical systems tried and failed to process the infectious creativity of human thought. Princess Lirelei broke free from her guards as they became distracted by the chaos around them. She grabbed Emma and Marcus, holding them close as Krillian soldiers ran in panic through the corridors. "Emergency evacuation," Vokhtar shouted. "All crew to escape pods." But it was too late. The virus had reached the flagship's reactor controls. The great warship's power systems began an uncontrolled shutdown, leaving it drifting helplessly in space. Through the viewports, they could see the same thing happening to every ship in the Krillian fleet. The most powerful invasion force in the galaxy had been defeated by 2 human children and their refusal to think in logical patterns. Admiral Vex's voice crackled over Princess Lyrelei's emergency communicator. "Your Highness, the entire enemy fleet is powerless. They're requesting assistance to prevent their ships from crashing into Earth." Princess Lyrelei looked at Emma and Marcus with wonder and pride. "You did it. You actually did it. We told you humans always find a way," Emma said with a tired smile. "The rescue took several days. The Zephyrian fleet helped evacuate Krillian crews from their disabled ships, showing mercy to enemies who had shown them none. The powerless Krillian vessels were towed to safe orbits where they could be repaired or scrapped. Supreme Commander Vokhtar, rescued from his flagship, knelt before Emma and Marcus in defeat. "I underestimated your species," he admitted. "We all did." The hegemony surrenders. On Earth's surface, humans watched in amazement as alien ships filled their skies. First contact with galactic civilization had come in the form of their own children returning as heroes.